Well, hello again, and hope you are having a wonderful day. It is IPO day. Congratulations. And no, you're fine right there. It's okay.
Yep.
It's good. I'll bring you in just a second. How are you now? I'm James Whelan, occasional talking head for smallcaps.com.au. And I am joined by Colin MacMillan, CEO of Golden Globe Resources, ASX code G listed. Happy IPO day.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Very well done. And it is great to have you with us. Now, for viewers who are new to Golden Globe, I was going to ask to give an overview of Golden Globe. We'll get to that in a second. I think that there's more to know about you. Colin?
James, thank you for your congratulations. It's been a long time coming. What a wonderful event. We've managed to make IPO. We've listed as of today. My involvement with GGR goes back 3 years, and I joined the company as a consultant. I was convinced to come out of retirement after 35 years or so, 30 of those with Newcrest Mining, and I joined as a consultant. As I said, I became head of geology for the company, and I also then accepted the role as director. Moving on, I CEO and managing director, but my background is what brought me to the company. I was offered the opportunity to have a look at what GGR had to offer, and it did attract me because I could see incredible potential with the three projects that Golden Globe Resources had. 30 years with Newcrest Mining, I was lucky enough to be involved in many of the world-class operations that Newcrest ran at the time. And I was also involved in several quite wonderful discoveries during my time with Newcrest. And partly that's what attracted me to take on this role.
Well, it's a hell of a pedigree. And a lot of people said that we had to dig into that. We will have some time to do. I think it's a podcast all of its own. I look forward to getting back around to that as well.
I'd love to.
GR, IPO, congratulations.
Thank
What is it? Run us through quickly what it actually does, and then we can bring that back around.
All right. Well, what it does, after quite a bit of trying to get there, we've managed to get there. In fact, we oversubscribed in the market as it is today. Gold is just out of, well, it's not out of control. It's in control, but it's just such a great place to be. We did oversubscribe, so we reverted to our maximum figure, which was $8.5 million. Now, with that $8.5 million, we've got a 2-year budget to be spent across our three projects. We'll go into those projects, no doubt, but in the Devonian aged New England origin in Queensland, the one that really attracted my interest initially was Neela Creek, which is very, very close to my home ground. I live in Orange and very near Cadia.
Do you want to start with Neela or do you want to start with Dulou?
Wherever you wish.
Let's start with Dulou Creek, the flagship project. Always start with the flagship. I've been told in this little history that I've got of doing whatever the heck it is that this is. So now that's near the Mount Morgan, and I hear Mount Morgan. I reckon I've probably talked about Mount Morgan about 6 times in the last 10 days.
Well, you probably would have. It's one of Australia's greatest single lode gold and copper. But Dulou Creek lies within the trend that Mount Morgan sits well and truly within. It's quite some distance from Mount Morgan, but we saw similarities initially to the styles of mineralisation evident at Dulou Creek that sort of correlated with initial interpretations of the upper part. So Dulou Creek is, look, in its own right, it is a fantastic discovery. Gold and copper's already been discovered. In fact, GGR.
You know it's there.
We know
that's it. There's no surprises that it's going to be.
No surprise. GGR have completed a phase 1 of drilling some years ago.
Yeah. So talk through what the geological model is up there and what you're chasing and what the phases of drilling are going to look like.
The very important thing.
And whatever's in the prospectus, obviously.
Of course. Yeah. The important thing that everyone should take away from any exploration activity is you need to be out there trying to demonstrate your belief in a model. We've created a model that we believe fits Dulou Creek. Also, as we've stated in the prospectus, we believe that it looks quite similar to Mount Whelan. So given the styles of mineralisation and the tenor of mineralisation that we have at Dulou Creek, we've been able to put forward a model that we will set about drilling to demonstrate just how close we are. And, initially, you don't expect to drill the discovery hole straight up, but there's every chance we will.
Not at all. I believe I did actually talk to a company just recently that their discovery hole is a phenomenal one at surface with ending mineralization too. So there certainly seems to be something in the air.
Yeah.
For that very much. Now we'll come back around to what you said. Your home, Neela Creek.
I live at Orange. Yes.
You're out of Orange, beautiful part of the world. I've got family out there.
Very cold.
Yeah, it's just like my sister, who's a surgeon of urology. Her hands very cold. You might know. So that sits in the Lachlan Ford Belt. It's out there, Acadia, North Parkes, Cowell. What's the thesis here, and what does this first program look like?
Well, for us, we'll go straight into a diamond drilling program at Neela Creek. My background, as I said, many years with Newcrest Mining, 15 of those spent at Cadia from the very early beginning of Cadia. I was fortunate enough to take on an exploration role and discover the fabulous Ridgeway ore body. Ridgeway's right up there.
As a young electrical fitter, I think some of the first starters that I made to go out there were for Ridgeway Acadia.
So what I see, what we see as a team, and our team, I should have mentioned, as our chairman, Patrick Highsmith himself, is a very eminent geologist of international reputation. Patrick can't beat this, but he's back home in. As a matter of fact, he's in Finland at the moment. Patrick, myself, and our project geologist for Dulou Creek, between us, we have over 100 years of exploration experience. What we see at Neela Creek reminds me so much of what we saw pre the discovery and leading up to the discovery of Ridgeway. So my model, you ask, what's the thesis? My model is Ridgeway.
Okay.
It won't be. That's
a model. That's a model. Definitely not a prediction, and it's on there. But if you can see this,
convinced that we're looking at something analogous to a Ridgeway style.
That's fair. That's very fair. Okay. Now let's take ourselves back up to Queensland, Alma. So you've got a large position again near Mount Morgan. And now what's the project on the curve? If you could explain some of that to us, and what are the immediate next steps at Alma?
Look, Alma is our smoking gun. Alma could be monstrous. It's a huge tenement, and as you say, it's very close to Mount Morgan. In fact, the tenement starts 15 kilometres south of Mount Morgan. Over the last decades, there's been quite a lot of first pass exploration activity conducted there, but no serious exploration. There's been no drilling done whatsoever in the Alma tenement.
Really?
Incised within it, yes, there is a tenement that's been drilled and it contains a chalk resource. But our tenement, the area outside of that, has had multiple attempts at geochemistry and some geophysics. Our strategy will be to pick up where others left off. We've got some very well-defined copper and gold anomalies. We'll pick up there with an auger drilling program, basic geology, basic mapping, and we'll work out over 2 years, we'll work out just what it is we've got. It could
be substantial. It could be substantial, but anyway, could is a word that's there. Hope is not a strategy. Oh, sorry, I'm always going to try and sort of tone down the bits and pieces that we do here.
Yes.
Now, you mentioned some of the team. Is there anyone else that's on the team you want to talk about technically and operationally?
Geologically, no. Look, we have the three of us. We do list as a junior exploration company, but junior in name only, because obviously with more than 100 years combined experience, we're not juniors at this. We've seen a lot of these types of exploration programs commence where they commence, which is where we are, and become something quite significant. So the director that I haven't mentioned, who is on the board, is Raymond Ra. Raymond brings 40 years of financial and equity construction background experience to the board, so a very solid character to have on the board.
He does sound like a good, solid, great guy, and I think that you are quite fortunate having a good bolstered board like that as well. Charging into, well, I mean, look, there's been a lot of upside. There's potential downsides on some of these things as well, and that's why you want to make sure that you've got a good, solid board on this one. So, what do you think the top two risks are to a fairly high beta play like this one?
Look, clearly, we're an exploration company. We don't have any revenue generation at the moment, obviously, and that's not our intention. To make it clear, we will not go forward looking to become miners. We'll generate resources, we'll prove them up, and then we'll decide what we'll do with them. But obviously, that's a risk. We don't have any revenue source. On the upside of that, it won't take us long to convince people that we do have significant resources and therefore flip that risk. But every exploration company sits in the risk of not being able to produce results. We have the targets. We just got to now come good with the drill results.
Well, such is the way, but it's all about where you're drilling. And I think that where you're drilling is not the worst possible part of the world that you can do it, and what you're drilling for is also not the worst possible thing that you could.
No, that's correct.
In this particular
that's right. On top of that, I should say, we are ready to go. Now that we've listed, we have our drill contractor engaged. As we speak, we're pegging drill pads and preparing access at Dulou Creek.
Yeah,
with the rig due to arrive, imminently. So
no reason to hold back right now. Which is as
absolutely not.
Now it's time to actually get to work. The champagne glasses go down, and off we go. I'm going to go and grab an auger myself. I think of this one. Now, what are the top catalysts that we should be looking at for the next 6 to 12?
Well, clearly drill results.
Yeah.
We come good with as we expect. We'll demonstrate that our modelling process is clearly a trump card for us. With the experience behind the three of the geological members of the team, we're quite convinced that we can crack this. We obviously engage others to help with that. At this point in our company's development, we don't have in-house modelling capability, but we certainly have contacts.
Now, I believe, was it mentioned through in the prospectus about use of AI technology with some of your results modelling?
Yeah. Artificial intelligence is the catchphrase of the day. Some years ago, decades ago, company personnel, including an ex-chief geologist of mine, put together a company and developed a first pass at artificial intelligence. And they came up with what they called a neural network or a machine learning exercise. They applied that to parts of the Carlin Trend in America. They then thought, where else in the world can we apply this where there has to be sufficient amounts of data, and they chose the Lachlan Fold Belt. So they brought it over to Australia. They applied it across parts of the Lachlan Fold Belt, a large part, including where we are, of course, and generated targets. Now, look, we're at an early phase, but once we do commence our drilling at Neela Creek, we will demonstrate categorically that this neural network or artificial intelligence works.
All right. Well, that's not too bad to go. Finally, and wrapping it up right now, the elevator pitch. You got the 20 seconds on the way down, hit the ground level. Right. Why GGR?
Look, we're a strong company, technically very, very sound. The assets are fabulous. In fact, I've rarely seen such significant gold and copper results come from an early exploration phase as I've seen at Dulou Creek. But on top of that, the potential we have with the other two project areas is just incredible.
Okay. Well, there you go. Ding, doors open. There you go. Champagne glasses down, everyone. Congratulations on IPO day. He's cleaning his fish tank on listing day. I think it's the honest person to do around that. We all know the joke. But congratulations on that one. For viewers wanting more information on Golden Globe Resources, ASX code GGR, and anything to do with the IPO, check the company materials and the article on smallcaps.com.au. I'm James Whelan, occasional talking head for smallcaps.com.au, but congratulations. Thank you very much, Colin MacMillan, CEO of Golden Globe. Really well done. Thank you very much. Thank you all for joining us. Have a great day and stay safe.